Good morning, everyone, all around the world. Welcome to XR Bootcamp. It's around 7 a.m. in London time on Saturday, November 14th. And no matter what time it is, anywhere in the world, you're going to be interested in this session that we've got right here today. My name is Muki Kulhan. I'm a Chief Innovation Officer at Muki International, my own production company and strategy agency. And I'm also an executive XR producer and creative technologist. And I'm lucky enough to be working with the best in the industry all around the world in everything to do from cross-platform innovation and XR production and VR, AR, spatial design, and more. This past year, I've had a very, very special opportunity to work with IBC, which is the International Broadcasting Convention, and the IBC Accelerators, which is a short sprint program bringing together some champions who are the broadcasters or major tech companies and other participants. Who could be the agencies and the vendors and suppliers and production companies. And one of them was a really fantastic project about XR spatial design, real-time production, and the shifts that are making in some of these workflows. So for today's XR Bootcamp, out of that project, we got some great learnings and made some new friends. And so I wanted to bring them along today, rather than me talking solo about it. I'm super, super happy to bring you this session today, which will focus on the creative workflows that are and the benefits using the tools that to create in VR, AR, in these XR worlds, and some of the creative productions that that you're able to do with them and make with them, and some of the changes in the industry. I know that's really not the name of the title. The power tools of immersive storytelling and design. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So without further ado, I'm super excited to introduce my close personal showbiz friends in the world of XR production. We've got Inga Petryaevskaya, who is the co-founder and CEO of Tvori, an amazing, amazing back-end toolkit in VR and AR design, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that. And Mladen Djukic. I probably said all of your names wrong, but I love you anyway. She's the co-founder and director at AEON Productions. Welcome, guys. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Muki. That's a great introduction. Thank you.
I've had my coffee already. I hope everyone has yours too. Hi, Mladen.
Here's tea. Good morning. Cheers.
So guys, I know we've had a really nice last couple months together. It's been so amazing to get to know you. I've been like really, really privileged to every time we are meeting and we're talking about production and really have this chance to I use this word geek out lightly, but it's really great to every time we're talking about different elements in XR, spatial design, production, the back end, the tools, the front end, the UI, the UX, and things that go with it. I learn something new every time I talk to both of you, and again, I'm super excited that we can have a chat together and reveal more learnings to the XR Bootcamp community. So hopefully, if anyone out there is already familiar with XR design and the creative storytelling and the tools you need, you'll come along with us for the ride and tweet us and leave us some comments and stay for the Q&A. And if you're new to this little element in the industry, hopefully you can learn something too. So I just wanted to have a quick chat with both of you. So when we all met together at the IBC Accelerators, can you guys just tell us a little bit about when did you find what was the click moment for you that you knew that there's going to be like a good think tank or coalition? Mladen, you first, please.
Well, I was actually invited by the guys from Epic Games, and they said there's this great event happening, and would you like to check it out? And yeah, I kind of gave it a chance and had a great intro talk with you and Rafi Nizam. And it looked very interesting because it perfectly aligned with what we are doing in the last couple of years. And it was very interesting because at one moment I felt like, oh, we are the smallest players here because we come from the small country and as boutique studio and everything. But it actually, at the end, it was really great experience because that was what kind of project needed, to have like big studios and small studios working together and big creators and tool makers to be at the same place and look at the same problem from different angles. So it was very, very good experience for us, and I hope we contributed as well.
You did 100%. And Inga, what was it like for you as a tool maker to like come on board and be a part of a project that we're now, doing, we're continuing these learnings. We're continuing, like, giving some knowledge back to the industry before we deep dive into
Yeah.
you.
I think that it's definitely overexceeded my expectations personally. And when Rafi invited us to join as a tool maker and be one of the creation tool for participants, I couldn't expect that it will be so practical focused and that people will have to, due to the program description, actually to use those tools and be quite disciplined to really discover and tell the difference. And all the conversations we had were super knowledgeable for us in Tvori to learn why people are seeking actually for new ways and in their backflow. So what are the biggest challenges today that they would really like to overcome with new technologies? What are the expectations, and also what's not working good in spatial tools and XR today that has to be improved through further innovation? So it was very great feedback. I mean, real feedback from using the software. And also it was amazingly insightful conversations with thought leaders from both production companies, tool makers, real-time engines, and probably the only venue where you can be so open and talk with both Unity and Epic Games and different like big and smaller animation studios. That was a great opportunity.
Yeah, so
I just want to add, it was really, sometimes you do get a chance to speak like studios with tool creators or tool creators with game engine companies, or, but it's always like just one level, directly speaking. Here it was like a network of very different levels and, users in the line. So it was really interesting to hear all of them together. So we were regularly meeting each week and, updating each other what's going on. And we had this proof of concept that we were working for 3 months on. So it was really nice. And the first time I had that, we are still meeting after the
you were
IBC,
still meeting, which is awesome. Yeah.
And it was really the first time that I had this like multi-level speaking from the end user until the really, the biggest tool creators.
Perfect. So I think I wanted to give this XR Bootcamp audience a little bit of a background on how we guys, on how we met. So you've just heard that. So a little bit of a think tank, working group, proof of concept, R&D den almost. So let's continue those conversations. I would love to kick off with you, Inga. So tell us a little bit about yourself, reintroduce yourself, tell us a little bit about where you're based, and a little bit of an overview of the industry and how Tvori is contributing to that.
Thank you very much. So I'm Inga, CEO and co-founder of Tvori. Tvori is a technology startup. We are still pretty early stage, even though we started 4 years ago, and we are developing software for designing and prototyping your 3D stories or spatial stories, both of them actually. We are changing, let's say, the focus over the time and just more like following the market and seeing where the market is. And right now we think that the biggest contribution we can make comes with designing this new world. So when I'm thinking about Tvori high level, I keep saying that the world around us is not flat, right? So it's definitely not flat. But the way we are designing it is flat 2D kind of PC design. It was totally fine for web design and when like the web was emerging. Right now, I think with these external reasons and lots of things happening in this world and trends like remote work and remote collaboration, remote maintenance, when you can't really be in person somewhere, lots of things have to be revised and just redesigned. And doing that spatially seems to be the very right way because you're doing some 3D rethinking. And when you are in 3D, it's more straightforward and creative. So the focus of Tvori is enabling that shift and enabling really creative people to be creative, like don't care about all that technical stuff and learning curves and behave quite naturally. And we are trying to build the software which is very intuitive and which is more like learn by doing. We also think that probably the adoption of VR and AR is still getting the pace and is still like not top level. for different reasons. It's hardware things. It's probably first of all, but also because there are no kind of easy ways for anyone to contribute to this new kind of media and to this new design paradigm or creation paradigm. There are many kind of well-known use cases like, okay, VR trainings or some AR apps for medicine, but there are many more things which can be revised, redesigned, and recreated, I mean, spatially. And we try to push and make those people to jump in and actually live their imagination here. So through the IBC, we were more kind of talking about rethinking the pre-production for animation and storytelling industry. Like, what if we can do this much more iterative process? How we can make from day one all stakeholders talk to each other and kind of make changes very quickly. So what would be the new way of creating animatics or previsions and storyboards, and how differently we can discuss those when we can't meet in one room for pitch session and having storyboards on our wall. So it's just one use case. Another use case would be creating your VR and AR apps all within virtual reality, which is definitely, let's say, our biggest frustration, probably even to see when people are designing for the new media using old tools. So we really believe that spatial apps need spatial creation tools to come up with very new interfaces. So we as users, we don't want to experience something in VR or AR that is, you feel that it was being built on a flat screen. I mean, it can be like not so intuitive, or it's not as immersive, and that's why should I put on a headset to watch it or to play that, right? It should be no reason why you're doing that in this new media. And yeah, so this is the mission type of thing, and today we are trying to enable XR teams to be productive. I have some video, and if Mladen can play that for me.
Yes, we thank Mladen for being our tech support as well.
Yeah, so I just can show how Tvori is helping that mission. Basically, you are, first of all, fully immersed, and you can quickly come up with some ideas visualization. So it more looks like sketch, but you can come up with this story within 1 or 2 hours instead of immediately start coding your idea, right? You can not just have the static snapshots of your idea, you can tell the story, and you can tell it fully immersively, like as a VR experience or as a video. And Tvori has some quite powerful tools to design for both augmented reality and virtual reality, and we simulate field of use for any AR device which is out there, both device and mobile AR, like mobile phone here. And we want designers to contribute more to XR development. Given that XR is so early stage, it's still early stage, it's completely driven by developers, people who know Unity or Unreal, and that's why designers are usually kind of playing a minor role here. We want to enable them contribute much more with easy to use tool, and enable them to actually also imitate the entire user flow. And animation, which is heart of Tvori, allows them to do so. So with very accessible animation, you can do that pretty quickly. And in addition to that, we realize that people want to discuss 3D also in 3D, right? Why should I share my Zoom screen to pitch you VR experience, or even to pitch you 3D design stuff? I would like to do that also in 3D. And here is, for example, an example of live event production happening in Tvori Viewer, where we can meet and discuss what and where it's going to happen. Super important that it's happening at human scale, 1-1. So when you're creating in VR, you're always at human scale. And I think that this redesign is happening in each and every industry today, including entertainment. And at IBC, the focus was around entertainment, kind of the production backflow for traditional output, flat screen, but also what are other formats we can, like, can we build once for flat screen, AR, and VR immediately? So that's kind of the vision.
Yeah, and have you seen? And thank you for that. Again, I love watching your clips, and learning how these tools work is important as an executive producer as well. We want to drive the fast car, but it's important to know how the engine works in a way. That's a good one. I'll keep that one. Anyway, like with the tools that you're saying, because we have had a focus on the entertainment industry, and my core spine in my business is pop culture and media, music, and some sport. Have you seen your tools being used within enterprise or architecture, other sectors in XR?
So our major sectors that are using today, I would say it kind of computer software companies that are somehow leading this industry today, that are building either VR, AR products themselves. And we can name Unity itself, or like Facebook and so on, like computer software companies. Also some gaming companies, like big gaming companies that are using Tvori for pre-production, for storyboards and animated storyboards and some sort of animatics. And automobile sector, because I think they're innovative. They have to be innovative, and design is heart of this industry, right? And what I love about working with them, it's a very special attitude to design. They keep saying that Tvori is more like communication and pitching tool for them, because what is the whole idea of building a prototype? And by prototype, I mean design prototype, or story prototype, or story like narrative. So the whole idea is to explore it, right? To communicate it and test it quickly. So, and this is our Tvori focus, to enable those teams to. For architecture, there are other spatial tools, amazing special tools, which are just focused on, let's say, other industries. And for us, it's still entertainment, as how we started, plus some additional verticals.
And have you seen other use cases in the industry where you would like to, we know that we are at a time of disruption. We're at a little bit of a tipping point in our production design and our experience design, and the behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, and we know that there will be changes in how fans, users consume what the output is and what we create. We know that the devices are going to get smaller and faster, more use of cloud, more use of 5G technology coming up. I know that's it's not a buzzword, because we know that we've been experimenting with it with real-time production and AR and XR. I will talk about a little bit more about what we envision, like what would be our ideal future production toward the end of this session. But is there anything that you would really love to see pushing the boundaries, or not a specific company per se, but maybe a specific workflow or a specific design style?
So this is another visionary and really great question. Definitely the future of retail will be happening immersively. I mean, just because this is the new world of how people are spending lots of time at home. We are kind of concerned to go outside for some kind of clear reasons. And the future of retail, and when you are shopping and experience any 3D assets being fully immersed, is one of those use cases. Medicine has a great potential when it comes to both VR and AR. So I think that it's super important for people to understand that virtual reality has two potentials. So one is a new production platform, right? So for producing stuff. But the second thing is consumption. So what we can consume actually in VR or AR. And here we will have to redesign everything from the airport and cafes, because we have to kind of assure the social distancing in that regard, right? But also for entertainment. Let's say we still have just very few examples of truly amazing VR stories like Frozen, that just won, I think, VR awards yesterday night. And there is Baobab Studio, but not so many other kind of truly immersive VR content available out there. But if it is not just gaming, that would be definitely something great. So AR books, so when kids can really get, I don't know, animated characters while reading the book, or theaters with additional AR entertainment. So we are still so early stage, and there is still so little kind of real examples that there is a huge potential for anyone to contribute to the growth of this market. And I mean, until it's never probably too late, but as investors say, it's still early, but not too early to invest in VR and AR. So probably this is the very right timing now.
Exactly. And I love what you said. It's, you know, it just tying in like this type of production and is not just for people that actually make it. It is for everyone. It is XR for all. You know, every industry is exploring with this, whether that's fashion or automotive or medical, you know, so we have seen those, we have seen cross-sector deployment and cross-sector use cases. So thank you so much, Inga. So speaking of cross-sector, let's go back to our creative production worlds. Mladen, would you like to please say hello? Or actually, that's like a yes or no question. I don't want you to say no. So say hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you guys are based, and a little bit about AEON Productions, please.
AEON is a small boutique studio from Bosnia and Herzegovina, so Southeast Europe. We are a small but growing team, and the biggest reason why we are very much growing lately is that we are actually not just the VR, but hopping onto the waves of new technologies, and that is what's keeping us afloat in this huge industry, animation industry. So we are constantly, not just because we want to, you know, be competitive, it's also because those are the tools that are enabling us to do better work and to do it faster, but also focus on creativity. So we are exploring the, you know, the real-time production inside of the game engine and using it in our pipeline for years now. The VR as well, and the open source programs and community-driven projects and stuff like that. So we are totally open towards the things that were not possible 10, 20, 30 years ago. And we are constantly exploring other technologies as well. And that is how, even if we are small, we are staying like competitive, and people come to us for knowledge mostly. Because if we were competing with some huge studios that are around the world, which have like 500 or several thousand employees, it's not possible. So that's why we are turning, first of all, towards the storytelling, which is the most important thing for us. And that's what we are in our core. But then we are kind of grabbing these new technologies to tell them more, because we are the same storytellers, you know, next to the campfire 10, 20 times, 20,000 years ago. But we have new tools, and that is what differs us from our ancestors. We have new tools and new knowledge, and that's why we are constantly exploring. So, for example, VR, I was, you know, I bought the very first Oculus, you know, even when it was the SDK, you know, in development and everything. So we are constantly testing it and trying it out, and we are kind of always trying to be the early adopters. But once we feel the technology is ready, and then we, you know, hug it and nurture it inside of the studio.
We love hugging technology.
Yeah, hugging technology.
I think we should make a t-shirt of that.
Yeah, and at the same time, taking care that we don't become like the slaves of the technology. As long as you treat it as a tool, it's great. And I would just add to what Inga said, and she had some like 10 great points in 10 minutes. And I would just add to like put it very simple to people that are watching this. If you are a decision maker, it's about speed as well, because someone working inside of spatial space, inside of virtual space, is much faster into like placing things, animating them, you know, walking around the project. And because as Inga mentioned, 2D screen was very helpful for years, but it's kind of limiting, and the technology now overpassed that border, so you can go inside of the screen and be much faster. So we've seen some examples of animators being like up to 80% faster. And there is also another thing for decision makers. It is new markets, because new technologies always bring some new media and new positions, new markets, like completely new space that you can, you know, already existing IPs, put them there, but not just literally copy them there, because that's always unsuccessful. But now go inside of the tool and think what your IP can do inside of it. And for creators, it's all of those, so all these two things, but also it's about iterations. Because when you are faster, when you are inside of the new space, you can also iterate much more, and that always brings quality. So sometimes, I mean, I remember 10, 15, 20 years ago, the limitations where you would think of something and then you need like 5 minutes to create it. Or with real-time rendering, you place the thing and then you wait, 1 hour to render to make sure that it's good. And right now, so when it renders faster, or when you are inside of VR and when you see it immediately and you can turn it around like you do it in reality, it's much faster. So it leaves you that time. You still have your work hours, and leaves you that time open to create more. And that's the thing which is the great benefit for creators.
Yeah, and that's really great insights in the learnings of using these tools, because when you started your company, were you using XR spatial design tools or VR tools or AR tools?
No. We were not using it. I mean, we were discovering them and giving them chance all the time, but it's right now is the time to switch to them. I mean, we did it recently for some parts of production, of course, but also you mentioned learning. So when I first opened Maya 20 years ago, it was like, oh my, how will I ever learn this? It was like 6 months learning to really know the software. I mean, of course, you can create already in a couple of days, but to really know the software and be inside of it, it took really half year, particularly in that time. Now it's much faster. But with,
Mladen, I have a question here, very quick.
With VR tools, remember the question, with VR tools, it's just, like I'm grabbing this and, I already know that I learned it as a baby. So I go inside of VR, there's no learning, just grab it and move it. Please.
Right, you have no choice. Fall off the cliff.
Yeah, and here I have the question. So I think there is some additional resistance from the people who dedicated years learning traditional 3D software, amazing 3D software tools of the entire generations like Maya, 3ds Max, and so on. Resistant that, I mean, you dedicated so much time to learn and be fluent with those tools that you will keep finding some limitations in VR to give it a try, or to really agree that, okay, it's not for everything, but it's like great for pre-production today. So probably it's evolving. Do you think there is more chances we have with new generation of people, either without 3D skills or with 3D skills, but who are very open to new technologies and they want to be efficient and they want to be productive and faster? Or there is still a chance with traditional 3D artists who learned those tools for years, but innovative in their mind. So my personal, when we are talking with so many studios, it seems like those really geek Maya guys, they just want to do the things the way they learned for years.
That is a very good question.
Govern production.
That is the question. That is, I mean, the answer is also in our studio. So it's more about decision makers than the artists, because when you are working on something serious and you are dedicating yourself for 2-4 years to work on the project, like I'm speaking about animation industry, you want to have reliable tools. And the reason I totally understand the artists that are more traditionally trained in CG, because when they were probably giving the chance to these spatial tools 5-10 years ago, it was not there yet. So they tried it and say, oh, this is crap. How will I work with it? But the huge jump happened in the last 5 years, particularly with the hardware, and now with companies like Tvori, that really now we're not, there is this time in history when you have technology and then the artists have to jump in and to make use of it. So now is the moment when, okay, it happened same with the film, with moving pictures. When they were invented for 20-30 years, they were like just the entertainment tool, illusion, and it was not creative. It was not that much of an art, absolutely. I mean, the film tape was sold on meters, or feet. It was treated like on kilos, on pounds.
And now we're going off data. You're selling off.
And now after, exactly. And now after 20-30 years, the artist came, there was enough of things happening and the tools improved a lot, and the artist came along and gave it the meaning. and it's happening right now in the XR, in the spatial tours, creating. It's the very right moment. Whoever is listening to this, you know, it's now the moment. I mean, we were the early adopters and spent a lot of time there. Sometimes it was frustrating as well. But now they are ready, and that's why we are already putting it inside of the production. So the tools are here and the technology is here, because, you know, 10 years ago you would have to spend thousands to buy a decent headset. Right now it's, you know, dropping below 300, and
Right.
any artist can and I think the next year will be the really tipping point, you know, the turning point actually. So after that it will go exponentially up, and if you don't jump on train, you'll be late. It will be too late for you.
Don't miss the train, folks. So
The train was slowly like preparing and everything, and we were going inside for years and checking, oh, will it work and whatever. But now is the real moment when the train takes off and you are on it or not. And I don't blame the traditional people, because you know, if they were entering and not seeing the results, the thing is also you want reliability from tools. But now you have reliable tools. Now you have reliable technology. So you just jump in and create.
So speaking of this creative production, Mladen, did you have a clip to show us?
Yes, and
let's
it will be much faster to
DT.
show some case studies.
Yeah, so I think what's also important about XR Bootcamp and what we wanted to bring to the table this morning, today, whatever time zone you're watching, and you're probably watching it back on demand. Who gets up at 7 in the morning on a Saturday? We do.
Well, it's a global.
Yeah,
like for someone, it's too late. You know?
Yeah. So Mladen, when you're describing it, yeah, exactly. Whatever where you are in the world, the power of coffee or happy hour in my book. So, I would like you just to kind of like prequel this, lead into this clip with maybe how you would have done it.
Yeah.
And now here's how you're creating it. So kind of like a little bit of, you know.
Yeah. I'll actually play it with the sound. It's very short, minute and a half, and then I'll comment it. That's okay. But what we are showing here is a case study, which was a result of the IBC accelerator. So I'll play it back. AEON Production has a long history with real-time content creation. 8 years ago, we created a live show with Unity, and for 3 years, Unreal Engine is the heart of our pipeline for creating animated shorts and TV series.
As an illustrator, I used Tvori to create a scene that I can later draw over and create concept art for our project.
It's very immersive when you are inside of VR, inside of Tvori application, and move stuff around, find the camera angles and lenses, and take some quick snapshots.
Much better than doing it with other 3D softwares with mouse and keyboard.
If you involve tools like Unity and Unreal Engine, also you can have moving characters that walk around. You can have some lighting and similar stuff.
It saved a lot of time to me and storyboarders, and we were able to find new ideas very quickly.
It was very fast and very intuitive. I spent maybe an hour or two to create a scene that would take me a lot more to iron out and detail in illustration, which I can draw over and use for later concepts.
It's not only about speed up of the process, it's also about being much more creative and focusing on the right things, which is art and creativity.
So there you go. You've seen Inga as well, and I didn't have.
It's so nice that you come out of the video and there's Inga, and then there she's in person. Magic, the magic of
Inception. That's Inception.
Yes.
So it was just one of the case studies, and that is one tool that we are one segment that we are using this tool heavily now is the storyboarding, because you've heard the storyboarders and the illustrators, and they were really like jumping in, and you know, because what happens in animation production is the storyboards and the production layout is sometimes misaligned, because they draw something and then we cannot achieve it in 3D, you know, some angle or something. And this way, me as a director of the series that we are working on, you know, we would build a castle in a half day and walk around it and, you know, rearrange the castle even before it was built for real, you know. and walk around and find the angles and everything. And you know, like you are on real filming on the live action film, but even better because you are able to move things around and say, I want higher ceiling or make this window, you know, more to right or whatever. So, or check if our characters can pass through that door because we have one extremely tall guy and those things. And then go as a director and find the angles even before the storyboard and everything and give them to storyboarder. Then he can go around, or she, and really explore the space and find the best angles and things and put the characters around, because Tvori can also rig the characters inside and you can really place them. And it's really, really immersive. And kind of, you think of the film or episode of the series even before it's made, but not just in your head and draw it on paper, but really inside of the space where it will be made. And it was really precious for us.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
I see on the
like what
clock
you
we
said.
have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm just
We
looking
talk
at
too much.
no, but that's okay, because we're like, you know, we're looking forward now. We're looking forward, and you know, I love what you said about, you know, aligning your storyboard and to production pipelines, and you know, it's so important. And this is where the change is happening, and this is where, you know, with these types of you know, back end tools to create and do previs will help. You know, we know that it's not just, you know, our indie boutique studios. You know, we've got, and the game engines, and you know, our friends at Unreal and Unity, and even, you know, bigger broadcasters or larger animation companies. You know, we know that, like, everyone's talking about films like The Mandalorian, or you know, not films, the TV show, you know, Mandalorian or Lion King, or even, you know, from you know, the Ready Player Ones. Now that's already 4 years ago or 5 years ago. Like, you know, these tools have been around for a while, and the types of production processes have been around for a while. But what's nice is it's being refined, you know, to be more agile and to be more efficient. And you know, I also love what you guys said about, you know, it's about, you know, utilizing these tools to think about your end results of your production, so you can implement some faster iterations, you know, be a little bit like, make those changes. You don't have to wait for 2 weeks to go back to an animator, or go to back to, you know, XYZ. So when you are dealing with your stakeholders, you could just go watch this or look on your browser. I'm going to show you what this is. Oh, here's what we could be doing. So there's a great, you know, we've seen these great illustrations of, like, you know, the before used to be the designer with these screens around them and lots of time. So that's like a 2-week moment. And then you go to developing and spatial design, VR, AR tools to be thinking about your animation, and even using these tools for linear productions. And this is where I've seen this change. That takes 2 days.
Yeah,
So
I want to
there's a big
mention
shift.
Tvori has great tool where you can meet inside of the
Yes.
VR space all around the world. So that is great. That is, you know, something that was not possible, and they enabled it. So even if, particularly in these times of pandemics and everything, you have people scattered around the city or around the world, and they just need headsets and they go inside and create together or comment things or whatever. So it's really great.
There is
tool.
even a desktop version.
Yeah.
But yeah, meeting in VR for even storyboard discussion.
Well,
It's
VR
like
is
you're
so
in
important.
real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's collaborative. I mean, Muki, I think you made a great summary of why there is the right timing to try. I like what Mladen said about decision makers, because we are seeing so many super excited animators and designers and all those big companies, and they get so much, they have to put so much effort to convince their management that they need the VR headset and that the backflow has to be revised and so on. So my probably last call to action would be to those decision makers. So I've visited almost all headquarters of all major companies and animation studios. So this is the time to take those headsets from your basements. And believe me, for many companies, they have 2 headsets somewhere in the basement, sometimes not on the Yeah, I mean,
They have them at all if they're in the basement. I mean,
yeah, but this is something that's happening. Or they have VR club to have some fun during lunch break. So probably right now there is a right timing to give these tools a try and take seriously for pre-production. It's much beyond just VR training and educational use cases. It's helpful, whether it's virtual production for your movie. You've mentioned already some examples like Lion King. It's going to be mainstream definitely sooner or later, and for animatic storyboarding previews, as well as design and redesigning this world. And anyone can contribute today and come up again with a ready pitch within just hours.
Exactly. So this is going to, it's, basically replacing a pencil and a paper. And here's my sketch that I did. We're moving to things like, the Miros and the Google Jamboards and things like that for the non-traditional XR designers. But what this is integrating with kind of real life situations in order to kind of do a rapid visualization. It's not necessarily rapid prototyping. Mladen, over to you. Thank you, Inga. Mladen, what's your kind of final message to our friends in the industry who
if
are
someone
learning?
feels they are late, if someone feels they are late, they're not. It's the train is about to leave, so you have half year, 1 year to jump
and
on.
we're driving it.
Or you might wait for the next train, next technology. It's not bad if you don't like it, but this is really great moment to go inside of XR.
And what are you excited about for your productions? Like as far as like AEON going forward, what's in store for what you're creating using these tools?
I'm waiting for the holy grail until all the tools are aligned and you are inside of the XR, the whole production. But I have this feeling that it will happen soon with some of the formats that are arriving. So yeah, but so far we are slowly putting it inside of the productions, bit by bit, and working on a huge project that starts next year.
That's the dining, and I can't wait to find out. And hopefully, I'll get a sneak peek because we're all of our close personal showbiz friends here. So yeah, that's the dining car of the fast train. We've got like a nice little menu, and it's all in front of us right there, which is good. So I want to thank you so much again, Mladen from AEON Productions and Inga from Tvori. Love talking to you guys, and hopefully everyone out here in XR Bootcamp has enjoyed this chat too. Where can we have everybody find you guys on social media? Ian, or what's the best way to contact you, Mladen and Inga? Mladen, you first.
Just type Mladen.
You like Madonna or Cher or Britney. How can folks contact you, Mladen?
Yeah, I'm serious. It's rare so far. Just type my name.
Mladen from AEON Productions. You'll find everybody on LinkedIn. What about you, Inga? What's the best way for folks to contact?
I also have quite unique first and last name, so you immediately find me. But you can also follow Tvori in all the social media, whatever you prefer. I mean, Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and we post regularly, not just, let's say, updates about Tvori, but we are sharing use cases, what people are doing. And those use cases are super inspiring, I think, for companies and individuals. So just follow us.
Awesome. Get on the Tvori train, get on the AEON train, get on the spatial design, XR, AR, VR tool setting, previs, and beyond productions. My name is Muki Kulhan. I've been your host today. You can find me at Muki Approved on all social media. Thank you so much for supporting XR Bootcamp. So be sure to follow XR Bootcamp on all socials and tell us, we're going to stick around for a little bit of a Q&A. I think Mladen might be doing that. So stick around, and thank you so much. Keep supporting XR, keep talking to each other, keep learning, stay safe, wear your mask, and do something nice for your neighbor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yep.
Hello, Manish. Where are you based in the world?
Thank you.
Hello, Manish. Where are you based in the world?
Thank you. So I hope am I audible, right? So hello guys. If you have any question, you can post it in comment box, so we can give our panelist. Yeah.
We can talk about the weather. So
Yeah.
Picking up just how much time do we have left, Manish? We have about 3 minutes.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes.
Great. So what's caught your eye in Global XR Bootcamp? Has anyone been watching any sessions?
Yeah, we have around 6 live viewers. Yeah.
It's still
It is
pretty
7.
early, you know, and it's extremely late in, let's say, other part of the world. So let's hope that there will be lots of recording viewers afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of these things get watched on demand, but we appreciate everybody tuning in. It's 7 a.m. in London, 8 a.m. 7:45 in the UK, 8:45 in Bosnia, and 7, 8, 9, what 10:45 by you in Russia, Inga?
Yes, so it's very comfortable time.
Have you guys been designing any spatial design or VR this morning?
And
No, I
not
was
this.
designing my kid's birthday.
Of course, it's your son's birthday. That's right. Manish, do you have a question for us? I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have any question, any pre-questions for you, but yeah, exactly. If you can share your journey till here, it will be great for our audience and for personally for me too.
Our journey, our
Yeah,
life journey, our career
exactly.
journey.
Exactly.
Oh gosh, who would like to go first?
You.
Me. Yes, I'm a vegetarian vegan. I like long walks with my dog, and I'm an Aries. You know, what can I say? Yes, no, my background is cross-platform production in the music and broadcast industry. I've worked with MTV, BBC, ITV, lots and lots of very large global brands, and I love working with smaller indie startups as well, and smaller boutique studios. The worlds of XR and virtual reality, augmented reality, spatial audio included in all of that has been part of my business and my vertical for at least 8 years now, and so it's been really nice to kind of be stuck into it and learn how these tools work and work with creators, work with the developers. And yes, like we recapped at the top, I met Inga and Mladen through IBC, which is the International Broadcasting Convention, and we worked on a really great real-time spatial design XR paradigm workflow shift type of proof of concept. So that's a recap of what I do. What about Inga? Would you like to go next?
I would like to take this 1 minute of additional 1 minute to make a big shout out to all others tool developers and tool makers.
Yes.
Just because the session is all about this powerful immersive workflows and amazing tools, and I just want to say that there is a big variety, and you already can play with so many different softwares, spatial softwares available out there for sketching and modeling like Gravity Sketch, for sculpting in VR like Medium by Adobe or Masterpiece Studio, for not just sculpting but also rigging your models in VR. It's Microsoft Market for UI design, and it's Quill by Facebook for more like traditional 2D animation, storyboarding probably, and Tvori for animation modeling and design. So what
and
combines
we had Instalod in our project as well
for optimization of those models to be ready for importing to those real-time immersive tools. Overall, there is one common thing about all those spatial tools that are out there. And that common thing is accessibility. It's really about democratization. So something that unites all spatial tools today is actually you learn by doing. So you immerse yourself and you start creating. And I'd like to encourage you to check out all the variety of different, and there are some very targeted tools for some targeted use case out there. So the community is huge. I mean, probably there are not as many highlighted use cases, but the community of spatial tools is pretty big. It's very friendly. Most of the companies are still quite small, and you can really get feedback and answers from developers directly. So it's a very, very nice time to join, because you can talk to founders, you can influence the roadmap. So you can really contribute to those tools shaping to serve your needs. So this is probably the message from myself.
Yeah, and there's a lot of groups to join, and a lot of like meetups and open communities, and that goes off of GitHubs and Reddits and places to kind of talk about your work and share open knowledge, which we're super supportive of. Go ahead, Mladen.
there's another thing for the creators. This is the perfect time for someone that is maybe watching this video later to think about what they can do inside of the VR world, because most of the creators, when they first enter, they try to reproduce the classical two-dimensional screen, and that's the most common mistake. So we are now looking for the new creators that are willing to explore new tools, give them new meaning and things like that. Because when the film showed up 120 years ago, it was the same. First, it was just a technical thing, and then it was the illusion and the commercial thing, and later the artists gave it meaning. I already said that, but it's really important that among people that are listening this and thinking about joining XR now, there are people that can invent something new. If they experiment, if they jump in, if they give it a new meaning.
Yeah.
It's good to get a recap of the industry, but we've already learned what everybody does. So sorry to recap mine again, but yeah, I think it's important to give a really good shout out to lots and lots of the tool developers and the tool creators. So thank you, Inga, for that. And it was really great to it's great to try everything and find what works for you. Just like any type
and there are still no standards, I mean, in this industry.
Exactly.
So we are working on those standards. We are discovering the best interfaces, the best ways to do and create in VR. So anyone can really contribute to shape this industry, this whole new creation paradigm. So join us in this journey.
Yes.
I hope we help one person.
That's okay. That's okay. Are you guys? Do you guys want to plug your socials again, so people know where to contact you? Besides just Mladen, that's all you need to type in the world. You don't need anything else.
Just search for me. I'll shave my beard, so I'll not have it. So Mladen from AEON or Mladen Animation, and you'll find me.
There we go.
Thank you very much, guys. So it was really a very great session. Thank you. So we are already short on time. So we'll meet again soon. Thank you very much. It was a really good session. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Global XR Bootcamp. Thank you.